Alright, it's time for Theme Chronicle. This event focuses on decks and monsters used in the solo mode of the game, so basically it's the lore festival. And a lot of the ban cards are kind of your useful generic stuff that you could make in a lot of these decks, but obviously that would just result in some sort of unfair games. It's more focused on the lore than anything. So everything we got here in the solo mode is some interesting things, you know, cute little archetypes here and there, but some of them definitely could be good. We got the whole World Legacy lore here. Heralds could be scary. Got Danger here. Vendread, lol, that's gonna be haha funny. Mutant, but as you can see, it's kind of a fair playing ground. So what have I decided to play in this event? Here it is, Crusadia, a pretty neat deck and one that I actually have in real life, but I decided to bring it here onto the Lore Chronicle Master Duel event. This is basically a bunch of monsters that link climb. You link summon your link 1 monster into your link 2, into your link 3, so on and so on. Well, actually, technically, the main boss monster is only a link 3, so that's kind of sort of your stopping point. Let me show you the deck a bit. So obviously we got our Master Duel attacks here, the Max C, the Ash Blossom. I'm only using 2, and then we go into the Crusadia monsters. Now all of the Crusadia monsters have basically the same first effect, is that you can special summon it to a link zone that a link monster points to, and you can only special summon the monster per turn. They all have some additional little effects. So Reclusia right here has the effect that when it's summoned, you can destroy one of your own Crusadia cards and one of your opponent's cards. Interesting. Could provide for some removal. We got Arborea here, and Arborea's effect is that you can banish it from the graveyard if your Crusadia monster would be destroyed, so it gives some protection. Leonis has some of the battle effects, because a lot of this archetype is sort of battle focused. That's kind of the point of it. So Leonis, what's the one? It allows your link monster to inflict piercing battle damage, although you have to activate the effect, right, and target a link monster, and then it can inflict piercing battle damage that turn. Draco's a pretty useful one. When it's summoned, then to a link monster zone, you can take a Crusadia monster from your graveyard and add it back to your hand. And then we've got the bigger guy here, Maximus, that allows your link monster to inflict double the battle damage for this turn. The only thing is that each Crusadia monster is a different type and attribute. Reclusia is a fire spellcaster, Arborea is a water warrior and a tuner for some reason, Leonis, earth beast, Draco, wind dragon, and then of course Maximus, a light psychic. Unfortunately it is a level 4, so we can't just use emergency teleport to summon it, but other than that they actually all work pretty well. So after that we've got some other things. We've got Gamma Seal, 2 Gamma Seal, and then 2 Thunder King, as well as 3 Parallel Exceed. Parallel Exceed, it does trigger your link monster's effect and just gives you more material to link with. Gamma Seal and Thunder King allow you to actually have something on your opponent's side of the field, and then you can have Thunder King there, because a lot of the effects require you to battle monsters. Again, the Maximus is pretty cool because, yeah, you can have your monster inflict double battle damage, but only when it battles another monster. So, I mean, you'll see there. And then we've also got the 2 Nibiru. This is a going second deck, because the whole point of it is that it attacks. And you can pull off some OTKs in here, but again, you need to be the one attacking, so it is a going second deck. Got staples, Harpies, Monster Reborn, Reinforcement, because we have the 1 warrior. Unfortunately, that is the only one. I mean, you know, hypothetically, I guess we could have had a more warrior, but we got the 1 warrior. Lightning Storm over Regeki. Maybe we could up the Lightning Storm, because again, mostly just for another copy of Harpies to be able to get rid of your opponent's spell and traps. Again, you want them to have monsters. We got the 2 called by, and then we get into the Crusadia specific stuff. So the field spell just gives them 500 extra attack, and it has an effect that you can have one of your monsters attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. That one can be useful, especially if you stack effects like Maximus to inflict double battle damage, and Leonis to inflict piercing if they're in defense. Crusadia Power is a really good card. Target 1 Crusadia monster. That Crusadia monster is unaffected by card effects this turn except its own. You can only activate once per turn, but really good. You're able to search it out. That's why there's like only 2 here, but they're good. Being able to open one of these basically ensures that your players are going to be going off, because if your opponent decides to try and like Ash Blossom or Infinite Impermanence, you have Crusadia Power to at least be able to protect it. And then we've got the Crusadia Testament. This has 2 effects and you can only choose 1. The first one is that your opponent can't activate cards or effects in response to the activation of a Crusadia monster's effect this turn. Not bad. And then the other one is that after damage calculation, if your Crusadia monster link monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, draw cards equal to that monster's link rating. So obviously, if you're going to be summing out the link 3 rating, that's going to be draw 3 after destroying or inflicting battle damage by destroying an opponent's monster. Or no, not just battle damage, but destroying, so there. And then we got the 2 infinite impermanence to round everything out. The extra deck. So Baguska is actually banned in this event, so if you're playing outside of the event, you happen to be watching this, we're going to be using Baguska because we've got the 2 Parallel Exceed. That's just pretty useful. Then we get into the Crusadia specific monsters. We've got 3 Crusadia Magius. So it's a Link 1, requires only any Crusadia monster. All the Link monsters have the ability that they gain the attack of the monster that their link zone points to, but they all also have some additional effects. Magius specifically is that when a monster is special summoned to a zone that it points to, you can add 1 Crusadia monster from your deck to your hand. So that's how it works out. You normal summon one of these guys, link off into Magius, and then special summon another one, and then you'll trigger Magius effect to search. Again, just having power in your hand, you're able to protect it to ensure that you search. Got 3 Regulex. Regulex is a Link 2. It's a similar thing, except that it searches out a spell and trap Crusadia, so that allows you to get power, or the field spell if you need it. And then the last one, 3 Crusadia Equimax. This is a Link 3, and is the boss monster of the deck. He only has 2000 attack, but again, he gains the attack of all monsters he points to, and it has a quick effect too that you contribute 1 Crusadia, or a World Legacy monster that it points to, and then you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, negate its effects. So it's got some useful stuff there, but the main thing is that you can really get up to a bunch of attack, and as you can see, the link arrows point down left, down right, and 1 at the very top, so that's why the kaijus are very important. Gamma Seal, you contribute over a monster that's potentially problematic, but you can choose the zone that it goes into to have Equimax point to it and gain the attack. And then if you have the Thunder King, you can pop it into a zone that it points to, and these 2, that's going to give Equimax an extra 5,500 attack. And again, if you're able to do some other funny shenanigans, there's that. Got some other Link monsters to round it out. Ib, Nightmare, Cerberus. I've got a Berserker of Tenyi just because he's big. Got a Mech Knight Crusadia Evermax. This guy's pretty good. I hardly find myself summoning it, but it's there if you need it. And then 1 Aplosa. There's no Access Code Talker because, by the way, Access Code Talker is also banned in this event. So I've been having a lot of fun with this. Let's check out some duels, and I'll show you how the deck works. So the deck is pretty reliant on drawing 2 Crusadia monsters in your opening hand. Draco is kind of interesting here. I've noticed in this event a lot of people are just kind of passing first turn. Maybe that's just been my experience. I think maybe a lot of the decks just aren't super consistent. But here we've got going up against Suship. So turn 1, he passes. Going second, very good for us. Obviously the monster that you normal summon, you're going to go right off into Crusadia Magius. I'm actually going to speed this up. And we'll see some of the shenanigans here. We've got Parallel Exceed, so that can actually trigger there, and you get your extra monsters as well, which just makes a lot of it really helpful. I take the Arborea. I've got a Draco in hand, which is pretty useful. Here comes Regulix. Now I summon Draco, and because I normal summoned, what's his face? This dude, Maximus, I can add it back to my hand, and I can use the effect again. That's the main thing you really want to do with Draco, is that when you summon it, you take the monster that you normal summon it, so you can get a special summon effect here. And so far, ending things off, or at least on the battle phase, there's not a whole lot more I can do, but I'm in a good position here. So I've got the Equimax with 46. I just went ahead and popped the Arborea there because we get those in play, and then it can protect the Equimax if needed. Ib is just an extra little monster. It's got 2, requires 2 materials. There's probably something else better I can play, but like Ib has some good protection effect. Just being able to hit here, and then of course everything else in hand that I have is very useful. Got the Testament, which, he has no monster, so we can't draw from that. But we've got power to be able to protect, and then impermanence right there that we can go ahead and set and get started on the next turn. So again, it's really dependent on the monsters that you draw, and if your opponent has a monster. He goes for Lightning Storm here and tries to pop, or does pop, all the back row. We're able to save it, and now here's the fun thing, is because he had Lightning Storm and Raigeki, right? So obviously Lightning Storm is going to destroy everything here, but we've got the beautiful Crusadia power. I went ahead and targeted Equimax, so Equimax is unaffected by any other card effect this turn, except his own, and then when he goes for Raigeki, Equimax can't be destroyed, and then Ib protected itself. So he's got a lot to deal with here. And it seems like he just can't get over here, so he goes ahead and passes. Again, maybe this is a little mean. I gotta find some better replays I've got here, because obviously it looks like our friend over here did not draw very well, though that's been my experience with a lot of duels this festival. But that's basically it. I just at least wanted to show you how the deck works in concept. Let's try and find a good duel. Alright, so here we've got a duel against Scareclaw, and I'm relatively, not new, but just coming back to Yu-Gi-Oh! I actually have no idea what Scareclaw do, but apparently it looks like they link summon, and I believe, you know, they basically just put a bunch of monsters in defense, and they've got effects that have those monsters in defense, which, on one hand, that seems like it could definitely be something to stop our plays, but honestly, it is just something to just overcome. So obviously, this hand, not bad. I think having Monster Reborn is very useful, and at least having Gamma Seal here to be able to, you know, place a monster in this zone so we can gain some attack. But unfortunately, here's the downside. I drew Arborea and Reinforcement. So, you know, Reinforcement is there to search the one warrior monster we play, but unfortunately, I drew it. So let's see. Thankfully, again, I do have that Monster Reborn, so that is just an extra monster summon, and it will allow me at one point, you know, in the game to just be able to summon something and place it into the zone. However, let's see, so we've got a Ghost Ogre here, but thankfully I have the Called By, which is why Called By is pretty important. Let's see, Called By, and then of course, you know, the Crusadia power. Thankfully, I can save the Crusadia power, and on top of that, even just search another spell here. But you can see, of course, see? So here's this interaction here. Regulex would be searching a spell or trap card. I think obviously I would probably want to get power, so I probably could have let it slide because I already had the power in my hand, and especially because, you know, you can only activate once per turn, but just figured I'd flex, I guess. What do I even search? Do I... Okay, no. So I search Revival because I already used power there. Revival is going to give us an extra 500 attack. And that is the important thing too, because Crusadia Revival, it allows me to attack all monsters my opponent controls once each. So that already pretty good. So he's got here 3 monsters, and you know, I sacked one for Gamma Seal, and again I put it right here so I can get the extra attack boost. Well, it'll load. So now I'm already at 46 with Equimax, and then I'll be able to use Revival to attack every monster once each, and he's got this little dude here in attack mode. So then just summon out Leonis, which, by the way, I think at the beginning of my game I searched that. Leonis, again, is the one that allows you to inflict piercing battle damage. So I figured, you know, okay, the deck is all about defense position monsters, might as well search out Leonis, and of course, having Revival there, so that's basically all she wrote, and especially because, you know, I'm at 56, I can attack every monster once each, and we can do a lot of damage, enough damage for game in one turn. So I hope you can smell what I'm cooking when it comes to Crusadia. A lot of other people are playing this in the festival. I'm running into quite a few Crusadia mirror matches, though it just comes down to who has more of the resources, or probably, you know, obviously who goes second. Again, they're relatively evenly matched in that sense, but just if you're able to negate some cards, you know, I was able to basically edge out over the other Crusadia monsters with cards, or the other Crusadia players with cards like Nibiru and my Infinite Impermanence, and you know, Ash Blossom here as well. So just playing those kind of staples here, those going second staples, are just going to be able to help you to be able to overcome them and beat them in that way. But let me know what you're playing in Theme Chronicle, what you think about Crusadia, and if you'd like to see more Master Duel content like this, I don't know how much more I'll continue. I think at the very least every festival I'll just show you guys what I'm playing. I really do love Master Duel, and I think in the channel intro I said I wouldn't be doing deck profiles or duels, typical deck profiles or duels. This is Master Duel, it doesn't count. But the point is, I love this game so much, Master Duel, and hopefully we'll have more content alongside the usual scripted stuff. Let me know what you think. I'm trying everything out, but again, yeah, let me know what you're playing for Theme Chronicle if you're joining in on the fun, and if you'd like to play Crusadia, this is the deck, this is how it works. But anyway, this has been Rex, catch you all later.